tonight I'm riding a black unicorn. Not really. Not really. Still grounded. Still grounded here at the Lair of Voltaire. I'm going to change the name of the Lair of Voltaire, by the way. I'm going to call it Dr. Voltaire's House of Cushions. Look at this. That's floor to head level. I have so many cushions, it's outrageous. You know, I design, I like to design them, is the bottom line. I really love to design, well, not just cushions, just housewares in general. And I uploaded all to Society 6, and as it happens, a lot of their stuff looks really good, but the cushions are the ones that come out the best. So that's why I have I buy so many of them. And anyways, but we're getting out of line here because normally we start out with upcoming shows. So where, considering that shows are dropping like flies still, where am I not playing near you? Seriously, sirens? Even if I do a newsletter indoor, it gets interrupted by sirens. In any case, so my next show was supposed to be June 6th in Denver, but that has been postponed to October 10th at Three Kings Tavern. And the show after that was supposed to be June 13th in Richmond, Virginia at Fallout, but that's been postponed till the first weekend of October. So either the 2nd or 3rd, I don't know yet. And the show after that is June 20th in Knoxville. Coming for Orville. Coming for you, Orville. Orville say I don't care. Because I don't care. He's like, leave me alone. June 20th in Knoxville is still presently on. We'll see what happens. You know, I want to get out there as much as everybody else does. I'm very eager to get back on the road, to get back to performing. I'd like to, I don't know, be making money and paying rent and stuff like that. You know, I'm sure a lot of people watching this can sympathize. But, you know, we have to do it safely. It just has to be done in a way that's safe. So I'm going to remain optimistic. And as long as shows aren't canceled, I'm just going to assume they're happening. And then we will defer to the authorities. We will defer to those who know better, who will decide, local authorities, who will tell us whether they can or cannot happen, whether it's safe or not. So for the time being, you know, I'm just optimistically going to assume that these dates are still on. And as they cancel or as they postpone, if they do, I will let you know in a subsequent newsletter. So presently, June 20th in Knoxville, and then July 5th in Houston at Scout Bar, and then August 7th in Kansas City at Riot Room. That brings us into September. There's a UK tour in September I'm really looking forward to. Really hope it's going to happen. It starts September 4th in York, and then it goes all through England. It's going to be so great. We really, really hope that happens. That brings us into October. So once again, the first weekend of October is probably going to be the Richmond rescheduled show. The second week of October will be the Denver rescheduled show. The third week of October, the 17th, will be Sinister Creature Con rescheduled show. And then October 31st, I'll be performing at the Logan Mansion in Shreveport, Louisiana. I performed there last year for a sort of private-ish party, and it went really well. We're going to do it again, except this time it's going to be more of a public affair, and it's going to be a party to end all parties. It's going to be the kind of party you fly in for. It's going to be really amazing in this beautiful mansion. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's it. For shows. So, you know, just we'll keep monitoring the situation, and I will update the schedule as the local authorities see fit. And hopefully sooner or later I'll see you out on the road, because I'm getting kind of sick of sitting here with Orville. In any case, what else is happening outside of shows is obviously music. Many of you probably know that I've been working on the new album Black Labyrinth. I have been not releasing the songs, but I've been playing the songs here on acoustic guitar and making videos to show you here on YouTube to show you how the songs are coming along. Those are called world premiere song videos. I have done, I think, 6 songs so far. Safe in Your Love, Someone Like You, What Will We Do, Friends in the Dark, Little White Lies. Maybe it was just 5. I think it was 5 so far. I think I've probably got another 5 songs for Black Labyrinth so far. So I'm very, very excited about this album. I'm also simultaneously working on a Black Labyrinth picture book, beautifully illustrated. I'm releasing the work on that exclusively on Patreon. So those who follow me on Patreon, you've probably been seeing the progress. It's slow. The progress is slow. It takes a long time to build a world, apparently. Not 7 days, apparently. It takes a long time to build a world, come up with the characters, come up with the story. And I'm working with this great illustrator, and we are, I send sketches, and then she does full renderings and sends them back, and we've been going back and forth. And so far, the two main characters have been developed, and some of the monsters have been developed, and there's a lot more to go. Like I said, I'm sharing it on Patreon, and eventually it will be shared with all the world. Eventually. So don't fret if you can't join us on Patreon. So that's what's happening with Black Labyrinth. I will continue working on the songs. Like I said, I have about 6 more songs that are in various stages of development. They need lyrics. Some of them need a little bit more development. And then there'll probably be more songs, because it's a true musical. It really is a musical. It's an unofficial sequel to Labyrinth, and a tribute to David Bowie and the Goblin King. And so it really, because it's a story, every time I write a new part of the story, it needs a new song. Like, oh wow, I need a song here. And so songs are just coming to me. It's been such a wonderful, such a beautiful, natural, inspired, and organic process. I'm so excited about it, and I hope you will be too. But that will not be my next album, because as I've been threatening for a while, I had talked about making a Spanish album, taking some of my songs and translating them into Spanish. Well, I recently got very serious about that, and I started digging through the annals of my recordings to see if I could find the original recordings from Devil's Bris, Almost Human, Boo-Hoo, Ookie Spooky, Then and Again, Bisexual, To the Bottom of the Sea, etc., because I never kept the separate tracks, foolishly. So there were never instrumental versions of a lot of those songs. So I thought, wow, what if we can go back and dig out all that stuff? And so I've been working with George Grant, my very good friend, and who recorded like 10 of my albums. Almost Human, Boo-Hoo, Then and Again, Ookie Spooky, Bisexual, To the Bottom of the Sea, Hate Lives in a Small Town. Like 10 of something like 10 of my albums. So he's been digging through antiquated machinery. I mean, he had to buy a zip drive to look at files that were on zip disks. He had to dig out his ADAT. Just all of this antiquated machinery. So there's good news and bad news. The bad news is, apparently, the 2-inch tape that Devil's Bris was recorded on, which I could have sworn was in my storage unit, was thrown away. Apparently, when my mother sold her house, I guess I had thought it was safer out in the suburbs, and I guess it got tossed when the house got tossed. So I almost 100%, because I tore my storage unit apart when I heard that her house sold, and it wasn't in there. So it seems like Devil's Bris is gone. So if I want to do instrumental tracks from that album, or if I want to release In Your Evil in Spanish, which I do, I'm going to have to re-record those songs from scratch. That's a big job. Luckily, I'm only doing one song from that album. Almost Human, we have not had any luck. There's still a shadow of a chance that we might dig out the files, but we haven't had luck. Boo-Hoo we have. Ookie Spooky we have. Then and Again, couldn't dig out the files. Bisexual's gone for some reason. I really, really thought that one was going to be available. Hate Lives in a Small Town we have. To the Bottom of the Sea we have. And then, of course, the more recent ones, Heart-Shaped Wound, Riding a Black Unicorn, Raised by Bats, What Are the Odds? All of those exist. So I have limited albums to choose from, but I have now been taking those original tracks and remixing them. I just remixed the song To the Bottom of the Sea, and I just remixed Matador, Blue Eyed Matador, and there's a whole track list for the Spanish album now, and a lot of the songs are being translated by the top brass of the VSC, the Voltaire Signal Corps, namely Modigan and Daniel, as well as myself and Mayumi. So the four of us together are translating all of these songs. And while, obviously I can't go to a studio to record at present, but we can be mixing, because I can email the files to my engineer and he can sit in his studio by himself in total safety without me annoying him, which I'm sure he really appreciates. So all of those tracks are going to get remixed from scratch, and then once all of the lyrics are translated, I'm going to go into a studio and I'm going to sing all of the Spanish versions of those songs, and then it'll get released probably this year. That's my hope. My hope is that album will come out this year. So with any luck, there will be a Spanish album of, well, I guess really there's no new songs other than Chupando. So it's really just like more of my classic material translated into Espanol. And then of course simultaneously I'm working on Black Labyrinth. Black Labyrinth is a much bigger job. So I don't assume Black Labyrinth will be done in 2020. It's possible. You never know. But I would say 2021. And that's what's happening with music. 2 albums simultaneously. And a book. What the hell else is going on? Well, there's a lot of really cool merch stuff happening. Those Balinese bats I was selling at shows? I just got more of them. I have the drawing right here. I can show you. Try not to show you too much because the place is kind of a mess at the moment. So I did this drawing of a bat on the back of a shopping bag from Coco Mart in Bali, Indonesia. And I gave it to a wood carver, and he made this. Hold on, pull it down off the wall. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So they're all one of a kind. I mean, they're hand carved out of wood. They're not sculpted, they're carved. And this is the Balinese bat, as we call it. I was selling them at shows. And because they're so fragile, I have to literally hand carry them to the concerts. So there was a limit of 1 per concert. And they eventually sold out. But I just got some more. Unfortunately, of a shipment of 20 bats, 15 of them were broken. So I have 5 to sell. I just sold 3 to my patrons on Patreon. That was an exclusive for them. But I'm gonna either fix the ones that I have, glue them back together, or get more made, and then there will be more of them. So that's something to watch out for. Those are $100. Then, to cover my bases, I went to another carver and I gave him the same exact design, but he made something totally different. I'm gonna show you. Look at this. I call this one the Javanese bat. Look at that. Incredible. So beautiful. This is made, well, carved out of a solid piece of mahogany. Look at that. That is so beautiful. And I only had 10 of these made. These are $333 each. Suffice to say, one-of-a-kind hand-carved items are expensive to have made, but they're even more expensive to ship to the United States. Oh my God, it costs a fortune to get it here. It costs more to get it here than it costs to have made. So those are going to be in my web store probably within the week in very limited supply. And I'm looking at an item across the room that I can't show you yet. It's very exciting, but we're going to call it the Black Labyrinth candle holder that comes with a scented layer candle. But that's a few months away from being ready, so I think I'll just tease it for now and post a picture of it on Patreon later. I'm such a jerk. But yeah, that's a ways away from being available. Is there anything else going on in the merch store? I think that's it. There's key pendants presently. Where is it? There it is. There's key pendants, there's CDs, the Hargoyle wine toppers. You guys have ever seen that one? I'll show you. Hold on. This is what this looks like. It's such a mess in here. I'm really trying not to show you the floor. This is a Hargoyle wine topper. Come on, focus. Focus, you bastard. Focus. You gonna focus or not? There we go. Look at that. A lot of people, they make me laugh. They're like, I love it, but I don't need it because I always finish a bottle of wine. I never need to put a topper on a bottle of wine. I have them just for decorative purposes. Needless to say, I don't really have half empty bottle of wines. Half empty bottles of wine. I've lost my, being stuck in here for as long as I've been stuck in here, I'm like losing my ability to speak. I realize I don't speak very often. I really don't. I don't talk to anybody. So I just kind of sit here all day long and all night long. This is very important. I do need to mention this. Many of you have noticed that I have deactivated my social media. Instagram, speaking of not speaking to anybody, Instagram and Facebook, I deactivated them both, and I'll tell you why. Because here we are in a pandemic, we're quarantined. There's never in my life should there have been more available time for me to be working on the projects that I want to be working on. And yet I wasn't working. I was just scrolling all day long. My God, it's such a time suck. Like you open up Instagram, you start scrolling through it, and before you know it, like an hour's gone by, and then you put it down, and I might start working on something, and then I get bored, and I'll just pick up the phone, and before I know it, I have sat there scrolling some more. And I just wasn't doing what I needed to be doing, which is Gothic Homemaking, and we're going to get to that. So I just deactivated them. I deactivated Instagram, I deactivated Facebook. Will I come back? I guess. I don't know. Maybe, probably, some point. But for the time being, I felt it was really, really important to focus on my work and make myself work. So they'll be back soon, maybe. Anyway, and now, lastly, Gothic Homemaking. I've been working really hard on Gothic Homemaking. There are new episodes coming your way every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. for the rest of May and probably into June. So far, ready to go. So I really, really have been working very, very hard, and I've been very diligent about making Gothic Homemaking episodes. So in the next few weeks, you're going to see an episode called Scaring Up Bathroom Mirrors, where I work on the mirrors in my bathroom. I have an episode called From Plastic to Pewter, where I show you how I take an item that's cheesy and plasticky and make it look like it's metal. I have an episode called Monster Themed Restaurants Florida Edition, where I take you to Florida-themed monster themed restaurants in Florida. So Gothic Homemaking is alive and well. And the next series of videos that I'll be working on, possibly in June, is a karaoke series. So the next thing that you're going to be seeing here at the Lair of Voltaire in the way of videos is a string of karaoke videos. I'm taking my songs that are instrumental versions, a lot of them that I'm remixing now, and I am adding karaoke lyrics on screen so that if you want to have a karaoke party, a bunch of my songs will be available for that. Before you get a little too excited about When You're Evil, as I mentioned before, the instrumental version doesn't exist. I have to re-record it from scratch. So that one is going to be much later. But you should be seeing songs from Ookie Spooky, you should be seeing songs from Raised by Bats, and a bunch of the other albums. So that's what I'm going to work on next. Needless to say, I am keeping busy, I am keeping healthy. I hope that you are doing really, really well. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really, really enjoy writing songs for you, and I really, really enjoy creating content for you. And I hope you will continue coming back for entertainment here at the Lair of Voltaire. See you next time.